What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and as some of you may know if you've been watching this channel, when it comes to JJ Abrams, I've been extremely critical, not only of the Rise of Skywalker and the absolute garbage fire that was, but also for years I've been critical of The Force Awakens. I hated it from the moment I walked out of the theater in 2015, and I just feel like there was no world building. It wasn't really a Star Wars movie. They just cut and pasted a bunch of the other stuff that they liked from other Star Wars movies and put it in there. And it left this house of cards to build the rest of the sequel trilogy on. And of course, I was already pissed off because of what they did to the expanded universe. But even though I really don't like JJ Abrams as a filmmaker, I do have to give him credit for a couple of things that he said in the aftermath of the Rise of Skywalker. Because if I'm gonna bash on somebody when they say something good, I kind of have to acknowledge that. At least that's how I feel. So JJ on Star Wars Critics. This happened a couple days ago. I didn't get a chance to cover it, but I want to talk about it now. JJ Abrams totally gets why some fans didn't respond well to his latest Star Wars movie, The Rise of Skywalker. The latest movie in the hit sci-fi series was met with a lukewarm reception from fans and critics, despite being one of the most hotly anticipated films in recent years. Despite grossing over $1 billion worldwide, a film scored a mixed 52% on the review aggregate website Rotten Tomatoes, with Abrams insisting he respects his critics. Speaking at the Oscar Wilde Awards held at his Bad Robot production studios in Santa Monica, he told Press Association, "Reaction was good, bad, some people hated it, some people loved it, it was all over the place. To those who didn't like it, I totally get it, respect it. To those who loved it, I'm grateful." Obviously, a lot of people worked a lot of hours to do something that would make people feel good and that they'd love. Some good stuff there, honestly. And then Abrams added, anytime someone doesn't like you, think, oh yeah, I could have done that better, I should have done that. You try to take it in. For the most part, I'm incredibly grateful to everyone who worked so hard to do it, and for the people who saw it and loved it, I'm grateful to them too. So I just think that was a very good response, to be perfectly honest with you, and refreshing from some of the other things we've heard out of people who worked at Lucasfilm. Now, and that's not just people like Rian Johnson. That's also people who no longer work there, like Chuck Wendig. They kind of had well, you can argue whether Rian Johnson used to work there or not, too. I suppose we'll find out about that sooner or later. But when you have responses from those people about why you didn't like a movie, it's because you're this, it's because you're that. It's not because that they did anything wrong at all. It's because you have some deep-seated problem. That's why you don't like this movie. And so for JJ Abrams to come out and say this, I thought was pretty refreshing. And he said a couple things like this in the aftermath of The Rise of Skywalker. You can see here, JJ Abrams seemingly addresses The Rise of Skywalker reception while discussing storytelling. Director JJ Abrams has mostly kept quiet. Speaking at a summit in Los Angeles, Abrams addressed fans' concerns over Episode 9 story, saying, "You do the best you can with everything you can." For Abrams, stories are about compelling the audience. The truth is, there are things that are meant to entertain people, to make them feel something, and hopefully make them feel good. Obviously, it doesn't always work. It's hard when it doesn't, and when it doesn't, you have to understand it, you have to acknowledge it, you have to examine it. So very similar to the words that he was using just a couple weeks after that, or about a week after that. And then if you recall, right after, like almost immediately after The Rise of Skywalker dropped, they were out here talking about it. You can see Chris Terrio there next to him. And JJ Abrams said something, and I wanted to go ahead and let you guys listen to it. And again, this was weeks ago, so it's not just recently that he's been coming out saying this. But get out of here. All right, here we go.
A vast audience for this. How do you deal with people, or how does it make you feel, or what would you say to people who don't like what happens, or wish it was something different? Is there a problem with the fandom that?
No, I'd say that they're right. The people who love it more than anything are also right. We knew going in. I was asked just I think 7 hours ago in another country. Someone said, "So how did you go about pleasing everyone?" And I was like, what? Like, not to say that should be what anyone tries to do anyway.
So I thought that was interesting, and like I said, I'm someone who has bashed JJ Abrams a lot, and I think rightfully so, because I think that what he did with Star Wars was the complete wrong direction to go. The fact that they brought him in, I'm not a huge Star Trek guy, but even I, as someone who's not a huge Star Trek guy, can see what he did to that franchise and how he destroyed it for so many of their hardcore fans. They bring that same person into Star Wars to do effectively the same thing. And I don't respect his movies. I kind of think he's a hack. But when you respond like this to the criticism, we could have seen him go just like a lot of other people at Lucasfilm have, high and to the right, saying, well, you're just... And he did say something like this, something a little tongue-in-cheek a couple years ago, and he got a lot of flack for it when he talked about people's responses to The Last Jedi. He mentioned something about maybe them being afraid of female leads. And he backed off that because I think he realized that that was the complete wrong way to go. We've seen people like Ron Howard as well. You know, Ron Howard with Solo, I think, could have done the same thing. Could have been like, oh, well, these fans are just scared of this. These fans are just scared of that. Come out with all this crap. But instead, what Ron Howard says was, well, I wish that more people would have enjoyed the movie. We put a lot of hard work into it, and we thought it was a good product. We just wish that, you know, the fans would have seen it the same way. And I think that that's to be respected. And that's the way that I think that business should really be done. Because you don't want to alienate those fans. What happens when you do alienate those fans like that? You have Rise of Skywalkers that just creep across this $1 billion line that completely stall out. They're going to be forgotten, that everyone's kind of laughing at, and is literally going to make you go on a hiatus for Star Wars films because of what has happened in The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. So hopefully the people at Lucasfilm can learn a little bit of something from the way that JJ Abrams has reacted to this, and the fact that I think a lot of people do respect at least that, even if not him as a filmmaker, the fact that he can kind of take ownership a little bit and say, yeah, I get some people don't like it, and we have to kind of figure out why that is. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Does this give you any sort of respect for JJ Abrams? Does it not affect you at all? Do you think that it doesn't matter what he said? He destroyed Star Wars? Let me know. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video out there, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.